dreams and turning dreams into reality. My inspiration for this week's theme comes from none other than Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, a timeless classic. Think and Grow Rich is one of those books that is, I think, anybody finds in their 20s. And in it, from chapter 1, they describe the story of Edward C. Barnes. Edward C. Barnes demonstrates in Napoleon Hill's idea of how we can use our thoughts to turn our dreams into reality. He had made up his mind that he would go into business with Thomas Edison, whether Thomas Edison liked it or not. The only thing wrong with this plan was that Barnes did not have any money. He did not have an existing relationship. He had no specific skills that would be very obvious to be useful for the inventor. So how would he enter into this partnership? Well, he started off by just making sure he went and got a meeting with Mr. Edison. And he showed up dressed in shaggy clothes, looking essentially like a tramp or homeless person. But what Mr. Edison saw was an expression on his face of pure determination. And in Edison's mind, he had learned that when he had seen someone who really desired something so deeply that he was willing to stake his entire future on a turn of a wheel to get it, he is sure to win. And so even though Barnes had no money and no education, no influence, his combination of initiative, faith, and will to win made Edison, it stood out to Edison. And so Barnes started off with a simple side job, working in the mailroom for Mr. Edison. And he didn't say to himself, I will work there for a few months. If I get no encouragement, I'll quit and go somewhere else. He said, I will do anything Mr. Edison tells me to do, but before I am through, I will be his associate. I will keep my eyes open for opportunity, and I will get where I want to go within the Edison organization. He had to win or perish. So this type of tendency makes for a great story of success. How many people do you know, including yourself, are willing to work that hard and risk that much to achieve something? I ask because I sometimes struggle with it too. The ability to go all in and harness that inner drive and determination, it's very, very elusive. So with our theme of the day well established, we will now transition over to our prepared speeches. Our first speaker of the day is Adarsh Chandran, who will be giving his icebreaker speech titled Change is Constant. In this 4 to 6 minute speech, if we can get 6 minutes on this, Adarsh will be going through the basics of giving a speech and will be getting evaluated feedback. So Adarsh, I would like to invite you to go camera on and present your speech. Over to you.
Change. I've seen this in many occasions, many places. Some are scared of change. Some love change. Throughout my phases of life, I've faced many areas where I had change. And today I'm going to share with you all 3 times I had change, which is there in my memory. I am Adarsh Chandran. I am from India. I live in a state named Kerala. And I look forward to sharing my thoughts about change with you. Year was 2005. I was in high schooling. That was my high schooling time. I was so much into sports. In school times, my passion was sports. I had much reading habits. I was not academically a great student. And after school, I moved to a vacation period. And during the vacation period, I'm also having that addiction that I'm a computer addict. I would spend so much, 15 to 16 hours on computers every day. And there happened a situation where my Windows would be having problem every now and then. I would be facing issues with CPU. I would be having issues with motherboard. So I would go and service my computer every now and then. So that used to cost me $7 US dollars a day. And repeatedly, it came to $50 US dollars a week. So my mother got really angry and told me, why are you spending and wasting so much money here? You should really go and do some course in between. I recommend you go and do A+ hardware course, which is a computer hardware professional course. And because I was so much used to reinstalling Windows 98, the Windows 98 serial key became by-hearted for me. It's so much memorized for me. So when I went to CompTIA A+ training center, the trainer was facing difficulties reinstalling Windows. She was not able to understand the Windows 98 serial key. Generally, they had this serial key noted somewhere, so they would go and refer that, and then they would use it to install. And the trainer was unable to find the note that day. And she said, I'm coming, I'll come here, I'll come in 2 minutes. I stopped her and told her, please try this. This is a serial key, FT9CHXVXW7BFCMRPR49VDHYD. And she tried it and it worked. I repeated, it's FT9CHXVXW7BFCMRPR49VDHYD. It's 25 characters, however I memorized because I'm used to it. My second change was in 2009. That was about perfumes. Amazon.com. Amazon.com was the company that introduced me to the world of perfumes. In 2009, I ordered an item on Amazon.com and I received a notification. I paid the money. However, I received a notification from Amazon the next day that item has gone out of stock and the amount is not refundable. The only option is I need to buy another item of similar monetary value. I searched for colognes on Amazon.com and the result I received was a David of Cool Water, one of the best-selling perfumes, I believe, in the US and almost all over the world. So that was my first entry into perfumes. Soon, perfumes became an addiction for me. So I started acquiring more and more perfumes. This was a time, 2009 was a time I entered to my post-graduation MBA studies. I was studying at Nagarkoil, a place in India, and this was far away from my home. So I was staying in hostel in Nagarkoil. So I had ordered a perfume courier which arrived the college office, the office college staff room, and the staff room person, one madam picked the courier and she called me. She asked me, Atish, this smells so amazing. What's it inside it? It smells so great, delightful. What's it? I told her, this is perfumes. This is my addiction. And the next question surprised me. She asked me, Atish, she took me private and she asked me, Atish, is this to attract the ladies in the college? Is this attract the ladies in the class? I said, no, this is out of my passion. This is my confidence. That's the way. And I started with David of Cold Water, one perfume. In 2009, I ordered 12 perfumes which arrived at college. That costed $150. And today I'm a perfume addict. I'm having collection of 53 perfumes. I do perfume consulting. I do perfume advice. I'm a perfume evangelist. My third major change happened 5 months ago. I attended a Toastmasters offline session, and that was my life changer. I attended one offline session. I thought, okay, this is going to be really hard. I would really need to get away from this. However, I got used to it. I found it to be a friendly, supportive place, and it has been a great journey with Toastmasters so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Adarsh. So if everyone can just, if we can get 1 minute, if people want to just post feedback for Adarsh who are not the evaluator, let's just, if we can get 1 minute for feedback. All right, our next speaker of the evening will be Grace Camille Kirchum. Could I have the evaluator, Jim Jensen, share with us the purpose of Grace's speech this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Grace will be speaking tonight from the Innovative Planning Pathway, the project Connect with the Audience. The title, Why Time Management is Important. And the timing of the speech will be 5 to 7 minutes.
All right, thank you, Jim. Now, without further ado, Grace, please take the virtual lectern. Why Time Management is Important. Grace Camille Kirchum.
Have you ever thought about asking whether time can be extended? Maybe for another 24 hours just to get things done? Well, my friends, you are not alone. There are days when I feel the same way too. Between deadlines, work, friends, study, and family, it is just so hard to keep up. Annie Dillard once said that how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. What we do this hour and that one is what we are really doing. A schedule defends from chaos and whim. It is a net for catching days. It is a peace and a haven set into the wreck of time. It is a lifeboat on which you find yourself decades later, still living. That is why it is important to put time management to be the topmost priority for all of us in order to live a satisfying and a well-balanced life. Personal time management can help us leverage our time better. This can help us to achieve the activities with the highest return of our time. Most successful people build a reputation for clarifying a vision, articulating their goals, and developing objectives to reach them. Setting goals and concrete objectives to achieve give them the foundation of a good personal time management. They are able to clear their priorities of incoming tasks and assign them to their personal time management system. For instance, in my case, I carry my calendar with me to help me keep track of all my appointments and all of my to-do list. Having my calendar allows me to navigate what activities I should do next. It also helps me to put a check mark when I'm done in doing them. This gives me a feeling of satisfaction whenever I get to cross them out. Also, I do not fully book my day and week so I can have time for an unplanned stuff. I also try not to schedule my work more than 8 hours a day because oftentimes when I do this, I spend a large amount of time shuffling appointments in my calendar. And it just gives me a lot of stress, high stress levels. Another important lesson I learned over the years helped me in managing my personal time. Effective delegation is a key to that. When I was younger, I would try my best to keep doing my things, everything, and to be always in control. But through the years, I learned that delegation is important to keep me sane and healthy. It also gave me the opportunity to pursue more important work and also to build a more satisfying relationship with the people around me. I've also learned to protect my time that I allocate for myself, my friends, and my family. Over the years, I have discovered to be always present, especially during vacation times. Turning off emails and phone calls when I'm with them so that I can be fully present with the people I love. Having good quality time together for me is the foundation for keeping my relationships healthy and thriving. Lastly, I try to keep track of my time. Benjamin Franklin said, "The lost time is never found again." Have you ever got to the end of the day and say, "Gosh, where did the time go?" Between phone calls, meetings, interruptions, when I am going to find the time that I was employed for. Keeping track of my time helps me to refine my time management skills and prioritize my tasks better. Let me tell you this. Time is seen to be the most valuable and yet limited resource. It is the biggest riddles of the universe. And the truth is, our decisions and actions define whether time can be our ally or an enemy. Taking control of our time means living our own life, not someone else's, and getting the most out of it. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Grace. That was a lovely, lovely speech. If we can get another 1 minute time for everyone to share any feedback for Grace. And I forgot to call on our role bearers at the start of the meeting. So I would like to call on Catherine. Can you please share with us the word of the day, Catherine?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kenneth. The word of the day today is reverie. Reverie, I have shared how it is used in the chat. Please excuse me. I've shared how it is used in the chat, but I will let you know what the word reverie means. Reverie means to be, it's the condition of being lost in thought. It can be likened to daydream. And this is how it is used. I was lost in reverie and didn't realize my flight was boarding until it was almost too late. Kenneth was lost in reverie and didn't realize that he had not invited the role bearers before the meeting started. But he definitely wasn't daydreaming. This is how the word of the day will be used. Thank you so much. Toastmaster, back to you.
Love it. Winnie, could I also call on you to share the purpose of the counter role?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. My role as the counter is to note any overused or filler words used by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words such as oh, well, but, so, you know, sounds like and any other long pauses during our participants or our Toastmasters speech. I'll give my report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Wendy. I would like to now give the stage over to Kranti, who will be our table topics master of the day. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Kenneth. So who want to nominate themselves? I can just ask my first question. Anyone from guests?
I think Bharat had a hand.
Yes, I can try.
Yeah.
The second one.
Sorry?
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. So what makes you smile? The question is, what makes you smile? What makes you smile?
What makes
you smile?
Use mine.
Yes. What makes you smile?
Use mind.
Smile, smile.
Smile. Start the day with a smile.
Yes.
I'm always smiling. My smile sometimes is fake. Even I fake it, I'm still smiling. This white cheer in the morning, I'll tell you about my day yesterday. My elder daughter just left for Spain. I was filled with sorrow. She had gone there to fulfill her dreams. She has just left her job. Left her job? It's very difficult to get a managerial job in a business IT in Hong Kong for non-Chinese speaking people. She dared to dream. She left the job and went to Spain. Why Spain? She got admitted to Warwick, Manchester, Hong Kong UST for her master's. Then why Spain? She told me just because she wanted to have a transformational journey. She does not want to do a normal master's which is offered everywhere. She took social impact as a subject. Social impact. She's a business IT. What these girls are up to, this poor father does not know. And the smile is off my face because I'm worried. I'm worried for my daughter. I'm worried what will happen to her future. How will she live alone? We were fortunate. 5 years she was with me. Here in Hong Kong, during COVID, no travel. So remembering these memories, the smile was off, on again. My fellow Toastmasters, I'll just give you one recipe for starting your day with a smile. Fake it till you make it. Toastmaster.
That's truly a big round of applause. Thanks. And I want to have one question to Jim. Okay. Jim, you are in an elevator lift and you are going for a startup funding and you got only 2 minutes to convince the deal. We want to hear from you how you start this.
Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding the question. I'm in an elevator.
Yes.
I have 2 minutes to convince someone of what?
Of your startup funding, for your startup funding.
Oh, startup funding.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, my name is Jim Denson, and I have something, an idea that I've been working on now for the past 5 years. It's really a way for students to with music programs everywhere in public schools being eliminated, what I want to do is to start a startup where money would be generated so that kids could learn to play musical instruments. And through learning to play musical instruments, not only would they be able to continue their musical appreciation in public school, but I also think what music would do for them is it would help them in terms of their confidence. And the reason I say that is because you see in many recitals and many concerts, regardless of whether it's classical music or whatever, when the musician is called on, they stand up, and then they play. How great would it be if bringing back musical education to kids in school would encourage kids to stand up again in the classroom, whether it's to play a musical instrument or whether it's just to answer a question. I think that would go a long way, not only toward bringing back musical education in public schools, it would also go a long way toward increasing the confidence every day of students so they could always, whenever called upon, could stand proud and stand strong. Thank you.
This is nice. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Anyone? Or can I pick?
You can bow and tell people, Kranti. You can bow and tell.
I am ready.
Yes.
Others, Chandran.
Others. Okay. So where do you find inspiration? Where do you find inspiration?
Timer, Raghu, could you please change? Okay. It's showing a red card, no? Okay, I'll start. Okay, the question is, where do I find inspiration? I find inspiration in 2 to 3 things. The first thing always is my mother. She is so adorable. She works like, does 8 to 9 things in a day. Like she does all the things in the morning. Today itself, knowing that I'm attending this event, she's made the tea, even though I'm sitting in another room. She does a tea, all these things, does a breakfast before we leave to school, does arrange lunch for us, does arrange dinner for us, has to go and take care of her office activities, all those things. And mother is the only person who does not take even one leave in a year. Rest of the people, they take at least 20 to 30 days leave. And my another inspiration is Ronnie O'Sullivan, the world snooker champion Ronnie O'Sullivan. At the age of, I don't remember the age, it should be 16. At the age of 16, his father was arrested for a murder and father was put for lifetime imprisonment. At that time, Ronnie O'Sullivan was all alone. He was the only person to support his family and take care of his sister. However, he did not give up in life. He could have thought of suicide. However, he did not give up. Today, he is a world snooker champion, earning more than 12 crores a week from championships, more than 50 lakhs fans, a lot of girl fans, and so much. He is also made record of more than 1,000 centuries. And another inspiration for me is perfumes. I love perfumes. I love the energy it gives. I use a different perfume for different days. That's it.
Thank you. I have a question for Vinny. How do you define self-improvement? Vinny, how do you define self-improvement?
Self-improvement?
Yes.
Self-improvement is being able to move along with change. It's being able to take a personal initiative to do a SWOT analysis. Be able to know what is your strength, What is your weakness? What opportunities do you have? And what time do you have? I'll begin with the first thing. To be able to know your strength. How can you do that? You already know what you're inherently skilled at. You already know what you can do so well. So how do you improve yourself on your strengths? Number one, you identify what you're good at and you do effortlessly. You ask the people who are around you, what do you think I do well? And what do you think I can do better? With this, then you can start your journey to self-improvement. Then you go to your weakness. One of my weaknesses is to keep time. What do I do about it? I tell one of my friends or any of my colleagues, if you see me getting late to work, I'm going to give you $10 or I'm going to give you $5 in a week for any 2 days or 3 days that I get late. Now, what that means is for you to improve yourself, you need an accountability partner to enable you to work around your weaknesses. Then we go to opportunities. You use the skills around you and what your strengths so that you can be able to make use of your opportunities. You can have your 2-year goal, 1-year goal, 5-year goal. And with the opportunities of where you are, you can make yourself better. And then what are the threats around you improving yourself? How do you self-sabotage? Who's around you? Who will make your improvement journey a hindrance? And you may speak to them about it. Or if it is a circumstance or situation, you can sit around and find out what are the threats in my self-improvement journey and how can I work around it? Back to you, Tables Topics Master.
Thank you. It's a SWOT analysis indeed. And
I
the
think
last
we have time for one more, just one more.
Yeah, one more, last one. So to Vijaya, when was the last time you tried something new? The question is, when was the last time you tried something new?
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and Table Topic Master. When was the last thing that I tried something new? Let me explain. It was last Friday. I am very good in taking care of my health. I exercise, I eat right, I think positive, I do my best every day. I don't think about the past and feel guilty. I don't worry about the future and worry about it. So I live in the present, I do my best. And with all that things happening, suddenly last Friday, I had some chest pressure and difficulty in breathing. At night, it started around 9 till midnight, and I couldn't sleep. I sat up and tried to take a deep breath for a couple of times. Then my son-in-law, I told him in the morning, my daughter had already gone to work. He was working from home. Then I said, it's better to let the family know what is going on instead of not keeping it as a secret. I mentioned him, and he said, immediately, let's go to urgent care. And urgent care, they did the ECG. They said, it is not really horrible, but it is not normal either. So we need to go to emergency. I said, I don't want to go to emergency. I take good care of myself. She said, no, doctor said, you have to go to emergency. You could die tonight. I said, I don't care. If I die, it's just inevitable. Nobody can save. But I don't want to be in the hospital with all the tubes on me. I don't want to be there. She said, no, I don't want to send you home. As a doctor, it is my responsibility to send you to emergency when the ECG is not right. And I said, okay, I respect that. I'll go to emergency. Then in the emergency room, they asked me, when did you last go to hospital? Are you allergic to anything? I said, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? The last I went to a hospital is 40 years ago when my baby was born. Now, I have never been to a hospital because I know, he said, not a place that I enjoy. So I take good care of myself. This, I don't know what happened. It could be anything. It could be what I ate. Maybe it's acidity, it is, bloating, anything it could be. But that was the last thing that I have experienced in the recent times. So that is my response to your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Kenneth. Thanks everyone for.
Thank you for those table topics. They were a lot of fun. It is now time for us to begin our evaluation portion of the meeting. I would like to call on our first evaluator of the day, Susan Scholes, to evaluate Adarsh's speech. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and Adarsh. Wow, I love listening to icebreakers. You had the courage to stand tall and stand up, and that allowed us to see your gestures. And they were very much in alignment with what you were speaking about. You pointed to yourself when you said my or I, and when you were counting things or you were opening your hands. I was very much impressed. We rarely see that in an icebreaker. Secondly, you started off with a great opening telling us you're going to tell us 3 things about change, 3 major changes. And then you went on through the body to explain to us 3 different items. Now, I did hear your vocal variety. You were definitely good volume. You also had good vocal variety in that we could hear your passion. You even called your passion an addiction, from the sports, the computer, and then the perfumes. Then you got to the Toastmasters, life-changing, the most major of the 3, and you spent the least amount of time on that one. I would recommend that in the future, if you were to give this same speech, you perhaps make them more equal, or if the 3rd one is the most important, add more to that one. You're in a Toastmasters audience. We would be very much captured by your mentioning why Toastmasters was life-changing for you. I'm still curious and I'll ask you later, but it's really important for us to know. And then you saw that red light and you shut off and you ended. You had an opportunity for close to say, I have told you about 3 different times when change occurred in my life, because not change is constant, back to your title. That would be a good way to wrap up, and it would only take a few seconds. So the one other suggestion that I would make for you is, I've heard your words were clear. I understood most of what you said. There was one point when you were talking about the computers and you were talking about something rather quickly because you memorized it. It sounded humorous. You did it a couple of times, but it was so fast that I had no clue what you were talking about. But that could be because it's technology and I am not a techie. But you spoke so quickly through that, it was almost humorous for us. I don't know if you intended it to be, but you did show that you knew about pace, because when you were talking about the voices and talking to the woman, you slowed down and you said, this is what she said, or this is what she said to you. And we could tell that you knew how to master that. I thought that was very useful and very effective. I would suggest that when you do your speech next time, use the Toastmasters logic. Tell us what you're going to tell us in your body, and then tell us what you told us. And your speech will be much improved. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Susan, for that thorough and thoughtful evaluation. I would now like to call on Jim Denson to give an evaluation of Grace's speech. Over to you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. And Grace, one of the things that stands out about you is that you have a very gentle and caring nature, and that comes through every time you speak, and tonight was no exception. You opened by asking us a question. Do we ever think about what it would be like if we could just extend the amount of time that we have in a given day. We've all felt that way, that there isn't enough time in the day for us to get everything done that we have to do. And that was a great way for you to introduce your topic, how time management, or why time management is as important as it is. And you also spoke about some of the reasons that you value time management. You talked about, let's see, well, you opened with a quote, how we spend our day equals how we spend our lives. And then there were several other quotes after that that you mentioned, but I wasn't sure who said those quotes, but they really seemed to connect with your overall message. So I think it was effective in that way. I think the strongest part of your speech was when you spoke about some of the practicalities. While you spoke about how important time management is, you also spoke about certain things that you've implemented for yourself. For example, not devoting more than 8 hours a day to work assignments, or always making sure that however busy your schedule is, you're always going to leave time unplanned for yourself. And I think the most important thing that you said is that you want to be completely present for your family, your friends, and for those who you love. And that message, that message personalized things. That's what I heard. That you personalized your message, the importance of time management, by making that statement. A couple of suggestions that I would have for improvement if you give the speech again, and I hope that you do. I've heard you speak about your family before and the people who you love the most, and it's clear that you do. I would have expected to see more of a smile, like when you speak about how time with your friends or with your family or with your loved ones, because your purpose is to connect with an audience. And one way in which to do that, especially when you're talking about time management, is maybe to give an example or so of how spending time with someone important to you, how that made a difference, either for the person you were spending time with, or maybe an example of how someone spending time with you made a difference in your life. Maybe one or two examples along those lines, I think would enable us to connect even more than we already did. The second thing I wondered is, well, how did you develop your sense of how important time management was? Was it something that your parents instilled in you early, or was it something that you had to learn later? Were there examples of when maybe you were not so good about time management? Was there an experience that had you say, well, I think I'm going to have to improve on this? Maybe by letting us know that, it gives us an idea of how we can possibly begin to improve our own time management skills, because I think it's something that we could all benefit from. Overall, Grace, you did an outstanding job tonight and you gave very practical suggestions on a very important topic. And I really hope that you'll give this speech again at some point, because it's important and people need to hear it. Thank you so much for what you've done for us tonight.
Thank you, Jim, for that thorough and wonderful evaluation. I would now like to call on my role bearers to give their role bearer report. Winnie, could I have you please give the counters report?
Thank you very much. I was lost in reverie today as I was listening to the speeches, especially the perfume part. Well done. And if I was close to you, I would have loved to see your collection of the perfumes. Now, I would like to commend everyone for their speeches or for their speaking duration. We had a few hours, and I will go one by one according to what I had. We also had use of so and a little bit of long pauses. Pardon me if I don't pronounce your name correctly, but I hope you will bear with me. We had Adash had only 2 hours. We had guest Bharat use so once. We had Kranti use once. We had Vijaya use once and or end once. We had Susan use so once. We had Jim use twice and twice and 2 long pauses. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Winnie. Next, I would like to call on Catherine for the grammarian report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kenneth. What an impeccable use of the English language today. I was thoroughly impressed, and the grammatical use of English was music to my ears. I would like to commend the use of some of the beautiful words that we had today, the rich diction that we had. We had Adash introduce us to perfume evangelist. That was new to me. I probably will be using it more. We had Grace using topmost priority, shuffling appointments, allowing me to navigate, feeling of satisfaction. We had Bharat using the word filled with sorrow, dared to dream, fake it and you will make it. Jim, musical appreciation. How great would it be towards increasing the confidence of? We had Winnie introduce us to effortlessly, to enable you walk around, self-sabotage. Vijaya, not a pleasure that I enjoy. That was beautiful. And Suzanne, courage to stand tall. Tonight was no exception. That was Jim. And our Toastmaster of the day, I just got lost in reverie listening to you, that I lost all the beautiful diction that you were sharing. Some of the things that we could think about walking through, Adash, the word so much used to. I would recommend, in my opinion, so used to or very used to. The other word I think that we use often, which is grammatically correct, but we may want to look for the real meaning, is very much impressed. We should be thinking about whether it's much impressed or very impressed. I know that very much impressed is grammatically correct, but think through it and let's dig deeper. What is the best expression of that, that use of the English language? Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And I wanted to commend Catherine's use of I felt, and this is my opinion. That is what we are doing here. Whether you're getting an evaluation or someone's looking, these are opinions. And that's a very interpersonal skill to all remember. I would like to call finally on Raghu for the timers report.
I pasted the timer report in the chat. Prepared speakers did good. Tabletop speakers also did good and they were on time. Just on the evaluation, I mean, I got the name wrong. Grace, it is supposed to be Jim, who did almost his icebreaker today as part of his evaluation. Overall, we did great on time, and we are 8 minutes already. We are saving 8 minutes today. and then about to end the meeting. Thank you for having me as a timer. Over to you.
Wonderful. I would like to now call on our guests and get some feedback about how they felt the meeting went this evening. Bharat, could I please start with you? What did you think of our club here? And you're on mute, sir.
ITU. I remember you every Friday because the quality of the club is good. I'm inspired by everyone here. Want to come more often. Some challenges on time, but then we all need to dream and we all need to be lost in this reverie of good people. And I love to invite you all to my club. We are a hybrid club in Hong Kong. I'm part of 2 clubs and love to be inspired and put some energy in our members by such a lovely energy here. Thank you so much for inviting me all the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Vijaya, I would like to ask you, what did you think of the meeting today? I think this is your second or third one with us at least.
Yeah, it's the third one.
Third one, yeah.
I live in Boston and I'm visiting my daughter here in Utah. That is why I'm able to attend this club. Otherwise in Boston, it is 10:30 start time. So I'm not able to attend. Just because I'm in Utah, I could attend, and every time I come here, I try to attend and capitalize on that timing. That's generally happens in West Coast when I'm from East Coast. But it's a great club, lot of members. I see some new faces this time. Others is new. Binny is, I don't think I have seen her before. So I see new faces. When I see new faces, I feel very happy that new members are joining. It is a positive thing. And Toastmaster, I believe, I want to let you all know, I'm a Toastmaster for 20 years. I have done several things in Toastmasters, and this is a great place. From wherever you are, you reach high beyond your imagination. At least 10 times you will be better off than what you are today. At least 10 times, if not more. So that is my personal experience. So Toastmasters, and like Raghu has traveled, I have traveled to 95 countries during the pandemic. And whenever the timing agrees, I will just join the club. I'll go to the club and meet. So explore. The periphery keeps expanding, but the horizon is open to all of us. I think that is the positive thing about pandemic. I don't have to spend air ticket or travel time. I can just change my clothes and attend in Hong Kong. And then, in fact, Bharat, I would like to come to your club too. Go attend in Hong Kong, attend in New Zealand, and then in San Jose and Canada, all in one day. So what's the easiest thing? And make friends around the globe. In fact, to be honest, I had some question about technology. I'm not a techie person either, like Susan. And I called a friend in Philippines. He said, I'm going to Zoom. Let's talk. I will show you how to do it. What more can you get? It's such a wonderful feeling to have friends from around the globe. And this is all Toastmasters and pandemic. Thank you. This club is awesome. Thank you.
Jay, I think I hear an icebreaker speech in there. Something about 95 countries in 2 years. It just sounds like an icebreaker. And it makes a pretty good transition for, I am looking for Robert.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. Just make time. And credit goes to Grace, who spoke about that, time management. You can do it.
Would you be interested in giving a speech next week? I don't know if you'll still be in Utah.
Yeah, I'm here till September 2nd. Next Thursday, let me check right now and confirm it.
Wonderful.
Any particular